there's no place to sign it. So, but we could put in the instructions, read,
Yeah.
and that'll be it.
I guess that would have been Jennifer's.
Is this something they generally complete after they've been elected? This year, or is this something that,
Traditionally, well, that's why Tony's here.
okay.
Tony, we already have questions for you.
Yes, sir.
There you go. This is the finance
Hey, John.
disclosure form here.
Does everybody know Tony Trotta? He's the school board attorney. And John Martriano, I think most people know, right? County attorney. So Tom, what was your question?
Well, I was just curious if this is this something that is completed once they're elected? In other words, or is this something that is a precursor to anybody, any candidate that submits an interest?
This would be a precursor,
Okay,
and we had an opportunity to briefly review that. But the board has a policy, it has administrative regulation, which we refer to as the Board of Education's ethics policy, and then the financial disclosure forms.
okay.
And those forms must be followed. Whenever anyone seeking candidacy, they have to follow it with the Board of Elections. We work very closely with them as those are filed. If the candidate does not follow the form, or they don't follow completely, they are disqualified
Okay.
as a candidate.
That's good to know.
What I'd like to do, and we haven't officially started the meeting, and I just wanted to gauge the reactions to each of you here. What I'd like to do is, since it's a public and open meeting, I'd like to have a traditional public and open meeting, maybe an invocation and a pledge of allegiance, possible. So I'd like to do that. We made sure I asked Vicki, and she made sure ahead of time that there were flags here. So if anyone has any feelings one way or the other, any objections to doing
No,
that?
no. It's great.
Before or after the meeting officially starts?
Before. Yeah.
Before?
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Newcomer,
Yeah.
would you care to lead the invocation?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. And are there any parliamentarians here that would care to, I'm okay, I mean, I've been learning parliamentarians, but we'll just do the best we can. So,
We wait till Jennifer dials in.
yeah, we'll give her a few minutes, if it's fair. She was traveling to Buffalo, New York. She had,
I just went through there this morning, literally.
probably passed around the
Yeah.
road. I think she'd said her kids were having some sort of soccer tournament or something of that nature, I forget. Before it starts, I do want to thank each and every one of you for stepping up, and this is quite a thing. And you're going to be put through the ringer, I imagine, but I hope we'll get it right.
Tom Berry, yeah. Not Tom. Terry Baker promised this was gonna be fun.
Politicians always tell the truth.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure.
It's a nice conference room.
Yeah.
Sorry about your sound.
Go on, it's
No, that's fine.
That air machine, right?
I think these 18 pages will keep anyone.
Yeah, I printed that out the other day, that financial disclosure, but man, it'd take a while to do this, because they're asking for, like, if you have.
Does this call out? And I can try to give her a call.
Basis, and then you gotta dig
Let me
all
look
this
her
stuff
up.
It did take a while.
Some people don't want to disclose all business.
When you were on the board in the 90s,
92 to 6.
did they have that same thing?
No, this thing started in 97. That's when they went from 5 members to 7.
Hello? Hello, is this,
Hi, you've reached Jennifer. Please leave a message after the beep. Thank you.
Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Oh, good. This is Jerry DeWolf. You're on speaker.
Yes, hi.
You're on speakerphone in the conference room, and we have the other commission members established here. If you guys would like to go around the room and say hello to Jennifer, just as a greeting.
Hi, Jennifer, Peter Bickford.
Jennifer,
Hi.
hi Jennifer, this is Tom Newcomer.
Hello.
Jennifer, Tom Barrett.
Hello.
Hello, Jennifer, Rudy Crumpy.
Hi.
He did not bring donuts.
Hi, Jennifer, this is Hal Spielman.
Sorry.
And Hal Spielman. Also in the conference room, we have the attorneys for the school board, Mr. Trotta, and also the attorney for the county, Mr. Marshall. I could never say it.
Okay.
And the county clerk, and we also have a variety of people from the public here. So
Wonderful.
with you here, we talked about it before, we're going to have a invocation and a pledge before we call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Okay, so can we please stand, and Mr. Newcomer will do an invocation?
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this group just to come together, and we pray that you would grant us wisdom, that you would grant us knowledge to be able to come together as a group to do what is best for our school system and for our county. We give you thanks, Lord, that you have every perfect gift, and it's from above. We pray that your wisdom would indwell us, to form us, to be able to come together to do what your will is, but to help us to have direction and guidance in all that we do and say here. May it be honor to you, honor to our system, and to our school. We give you thanks, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jennifer, could I ask you maybe to mute your phone while you're not speaking? And of course, you can call, speak at any time. We're just picking up a little bit of background noise.
Sure.
Okay, with that, it's 3:03 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order as chairman of the commission. Again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here, and I'd like to thank Jennifer for dialing in from wherever she is. And I'd like to thank the public for coming. So we're all here. We have a task about us. So we have a state statute that talks about why we're here and what we're doing. And so, first, we're here today to establish the process for what we're going to include in the, whether it be instructions and what forms that we need the candidates to, and also a timeline. So I just want to bring you guys all up to speed on what I've done behind the scenes since we were officially voted on by the county commissioners on Tuesday. So immediately talked with the county attorney and also Mr. Bickford here on the school board and the school's attorney, Mr. Trotta. We looked at the requirements that the Washington County Public School System needs. There is the ethics regulation. There is no place to physically sign that, but it's a requirement that we're going to put in the application package, and it will be, read the ethics policy. The only thing per se that I can find, and Mr. Trotta, please jump in if I've said anything inaccurate, that from the public school system that they are required to complete and sign is this 23-page financial disclosure form, Washington County Board of Education Ethics Advisory Panel Financial Disclosure Form. Each one of us has a copy. So they are required to fill that out. Other than that, I've checked with the elections board. The director of the elections board said that at this time, since this is an appointment and this is not an election, there are no requirements for any paperwork to be completed by this candidate. It would be incumbent upon them after they're appointed to then go to the Board of Elections, and then they are subject to the Board of Elections schedule, timelines, and procedures, if they want to run for election next year. So just putting that out there. So the first, I had a couple of things here. I'd like to just make recommendations, and then each of you can weigh in and tell me what you think. So if we were to have an instruction for an applicant who wants to, also the Board of Elections states that there's only one requirement for an applicant, that they be a registered voter of Washington County. There's no age or timeline of how long they've been in Washington County. So with that being said, that's the only requirement that I'm aware of. And if anybody else knows of any requirement, please chime in. So we have the first on my list would be the instructions for the candidates would be read the state statute regarding the Board of Education vacancy, just establishing this commission, establishing the Board of County Commissioners. They get to make the selection. We can choose up to 3 candidates and send them, and we'll talk about this. We'll list the candidates in alphabetical order if we choose up to 3. So we can do 1, 2, or 3, whatever we decide. So it would be read the state statute regarding the Board of Education vacancy, read the Washington County Public Schools ethics policy. Again, there's nowhere for them to sign, but we're telling them in the instructions to read it. The next thing would be to download and complete the Washington County Public Schools financial disclosure form, this 23-page form that we just saw here. These forms, 2 venues or 2 modes that we're looking at, and you guys can chime in and tell me what you think. We would like to advertise these instructions, what we're coming up with now, and these forms on the Washington County Public Schools website and also the county's website. In addition to that, we're going to do a press release. I see the press is here, Herald Mail and WHAG. So we'll put that on the press release as well. So everybody will have plenty of, they can go to the websites and look and read the instructions and find the forms. Mr. Trotta is going to go and ask specifically if when we do this, when we finish here, that link for this website, or for the financial disclosure form and the ethics policies, could be included in the instruction on that one page, so that they're not looking throughout the website, the public schools website, to look for that. Or they spell out very specifically where it is on the website. The only other 2 things that I thought of, and feel free chime in, a cover letter and a resume. Of course, you all know, I'm current chairman of the Washington County Republican Central Committee, and I've been through several rounds of other recess appointments. I think on a couple of occasions we've asked the candidates to write an essay, on different things. So that's an option, or anything else you guys want. Would you guys like to chime in on what you think should be included?
I think you just on the resume include their qualifications for why they think they belong on the board, and maybe a brief summary of experience with that kind of board's work.
So is that something that they could include in their cover letter? We could say cover letter with qualifications and summary of experience, or?
I mean, I'm saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They would kind of demonstrate an interest. Explain a little bit on the cover letter why they're interested in serving, and maybe their relevant educational or background experience as far as serving in the community in different organizations or serving in school systems.
I agree with that as well. I think knowing that why they would be interested and that they truly are interested and not just go to be a body on the board, I think that is important, just so that they have the best interest of the community at heart, as well as the kids and what have you. I think that's important to know.
All right, great, thank you. So in that cover letter,
An explanation of why, you know, why they've chosen to, why they're interested in applying for that. And also, I think some discussion either in the resume of other relevant, either volunteering effort in the community or with the school system in particular, perhaps. And I think it's good to kind of establish that.
That would be great.
Jerry, I think you ought to also throw in their occupation. Because if you're gonna take this job, it's more than just showing up for a meeting. When I was on there, it was like a half-time job.
Okay.
It takes a lot of time. If they can't spend the time on it, they probably shouldn't be looking at being a member.
Okay, so on the cover letter, when we ask them to include a cover letter, there'll be explanation of why they're applying, any relevant experience with the educational system, and their current occupation. I know Vicky's taking some notes. I just want to make sure we get all this. I wasn't sure who was taking everything.
I am recording.
Okay, great.
Yes, you talked about qualifications, experience, why they're interested, relevant community experience, BOE experience. Want to know their why and their occupation, because it takes time.
Okay, I just want to make sure we all summarize this, so we might use the notes later when we're actually typing out the instruction, if it's possible. Okay, so, other than that, would you guys require an essay or anything of that nature? Or anything else you want to include
Something that'll be covered in the cover
in
letter.
a cover letter? So, can you guys think of anything else that you'd like included in the application per se itself, other than those forms? Like I said, and I'm just talking out loud, the public school systems, we've met what we have here, the ethics regulations, the financial disclosure form, which is the only thing they're filling out and signing. There's nothing from the Board of Elections and nothing from the county. And then the only other stuff would be what we're asking them to include. Read the state statute, read the ethics policy, download, complete the financial disclosure form, include a cover letter with the explanation of why they're applying, the relevant community experience, their current occupation, so on and so forth, and then a resume. So, Jennifer, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that seems to cover, I mean, a wide range of, information, and I think it's all relevant, and I think it's good.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Did somebody else have anything? Okay, so that's that. The actual application package and process. But now, as far as the deadlines, I just have a idea, a rough timeline here. So today we're meeting at, so I would suggest, and I'm just throwing this out here, that they either mail or deliver in person here to the county administration building. And Vicki has a suite. We have the address here, and suite 1101. That 100 West Washington, that they could deliver this to. So, and we'll include all that here shortly in the instruction. So I'm suggesting a week, and it's a fairly aggressive timeline that I have, but we're already behind the curve on this. So, and I think that what we're going to find is there's going to be a lot of people in the community that are probably already decided if they're going to apply for this. So most of them should probably already have this stuff together. So my proposal here is that we have a 4:30 p.m. deadline, Friday, May 19th, which is next Friday. I originally had 5, but on advice of the attorneys and the Miss Vicki here, that would give time. The sheriff's deputy downstairs leaves, and then for the PR department to finalize the list of candidates and then send the press release with the list of names that we received before 5 o'clock next Friday. So it would be all neat and clean. So what I'm proposing is we put in the instruction everything that we had just included, and with the following couple of stipulations, that we would say that the applications may be delivered in person or mailed, but regardless of the postal schedule, must be received by 4:30 p.m. On Friday, May 19, 2017, at the county suite 1101, 100 West Washington Street.
Do we have any idea when the school board and the school website and the county website will be able to have the data up and loaded? I mean, will they be able to have it Monday evening?
I actually don't know the answer.
Because that kind of dictates when people can start to.
I'm not sure. If I were to contact Richard Wright, he might be able to update the board website,
Yeah, I could do
the
that.
WCPS website, before the weekend.
Okay.
Okay, so Peter could handle that, so I appreciate that. And then as far as the county administration, would we have somebody downstairs that could do that this afternoon?
I'm not sure, it depends on what time this meeting is over.
Well-
How quickly you can put it together.
Well, basically, I mean, the rest is the timeline, and if we all agree to the 4:30 deadline, we've already agreed to what the package includes, then we just, if somebody could type it up, and then basically, we could get that going even before we finish the rest of the meeting here today.
And the statute requires advertising the vacancy or providing the procedures in either the newspaper of general circulation or an electronic posting on the local school system website.
Right.
So we want to satisfy that, and then we talked about doing more than that. So the school board's website is the most pressing one. The county will obviously do what we can do to do that, and obviously, a press release will go out whether it happens today or Monday or over the weekend, I'm not sure. But if we can get it on the school board's website as quickly as possible, and let everyone know that's what it is.
Perfect. So other than what we just said, the only other thing I would include in this instructions as a note that all applicants are advised that the application package upon receipt becomes property of the Washington County School Board Nominating Commission. So just so they know, and that their names will be released to the press. Would anybody have anything else that they'd like to include in the instructions or the process here for the deadline? Do you guys think that that might be a prudent deadline?
Next Friday,
Next Friday, 4:30?
if they're interested, it should be, yeah. That's a week away.
Yeah.
Can we back into what's our timeline and go backwards just to make sure it works that way?
Okay, I have that.
Okay.
I have just a rough draft, and then
Okay.
we could go on from there. So what I was thinking here is that if we had next Friday as at 4:30 p.m. as the deadline. So a couple of things here. The offices are closed over the weekend. We're not going to be in here meeting. So Vicki Lum would be prepared to lock all of the applications up. They're going to be kept here in the county building. Nobody's going to be open to them, or nobody's going to have opened them. Next week, I would propose a meeting. So whether it's the 23rd or 24th, that would be the Tuesday or Wednesday, that we would have our preliminary meeting to open all of the packages here as a commission and start going through them. So that's a pretty robust thing, but the reason why I was going to have a couple-day delay in there, the county has agreed, their Human Resources Department, to do a background check on the applicants that we receive. They're going to help us out in that regard. So I want to give them a little opportunity, and the background check that they would do for us, so we can do proper vetting, is a standard school background, working with children background check. So there's that they're going to do for us. I want to give them a day or so to get that together. But also, I would like to take it another step further and maybe do a Maryland judiciary case search file. The county didn't do that, so, you know, we could do that ourselves, and that's just a search online of any criminal judicial proceedings that come up. Now, the reason why I say this is because the candidates should be including everything in their form, but we as a commission should be doing our due diligence and prudence, in my opinion, to make sure there's nothing that pops up. So I'd like a day or so to, you know, look that over. So when we come to our first meeting, we have all of the packages here. We're gonna open up all the packages. Hopefully, we should have everything from Human Resources, the search that they've done. We will have the stuff from Judicial Case Search, and then we can put that together in our preliminary file. Additionally, that day, Mr. Trotta's office, once we open that up, the completed financial disclosure form would be in there. So his office, Jamie Brown, would then come to our commission meeting, and as we open the package, we would give her the financial disclosure form, and they would look it over and determine that everything has been completed satisfactory for them, and or if they require any more information from a candidate, or if there's anything that's possibly disqualifying of that nature. So, so that's just the next meeting, and I would suggest that first meeting would be starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon again, and I would schedule at least 2 hours to go through those applications. I have no idea if we're going to get 1, 2, or 20. There's just no way to gauge that. I imagine we're going to have a handful of you know, highly qualified candidates, and we're going to have you know, our homework to do on them. So, sir.
If you're going to have all that background check in the cover letter, you might as well let the candidates know that that's in there, that they're going to be examined.
We can put that in the instructions.
Yep.
Background checks will be performed.
Right.
It's a good idea.
Some of them really don't understand all of the implications of past,
Okay.
their
Yeah.
past.
We'll put that in the instructions. Thank you. So I'm thinking, I could be off base here. I really have no way to judge this. So at least 2 hours to do our preliminary checks. We got the packages here. We meet with the school board attorney's office to go through those forms. We could have a break for dinner there, 5 to 6. And I could be off base here, but we could, at that time, that evening, have our public hearing where, because now we know who the list of all the applicants are. We have just opened their package and we're perusing through them. We could have our public hearing that's required by statute that night. I'm guessing here maybe 6 to 8 p.m. Where we could have a sign-up sheet for them to come and sign up ahead of time if they want to talk good, bad, or indifferent on any of the candidates that we have. And then we could say each person is limited to 3 minutes. I mean, I just have no way to gauge. I imagine we're probably going to get a lot of people to come to that. So imagine we, you know, if we kept it at 3 minutes, we could still filter through a lot of people.
Are you suggesting that the audience gives their opinion on the candidates before the candidates get a chance to say anything?
Well, that's a question there amongst themselves. What I was going to suggest is we could schedule after the public hearing, and this is totally up to you. I mean, I don't know how many applicants we're going to receive. You know, let's say we get 20. Are we going to want to talk and interview all 20 applicants before we decide to whittle it down?
Absolutely.
Well, the only thing I would say is if we are specific on the criteria up front, you know, like if they do not meet those criteria, then they wouldn't really go through the process of the interview. So in other words, what I'm saying is if the criteria is they have to be a resident of Washington County and they're not, you know what I mean? We need, did they fill out the disclosure form? If not, you know, yeah, maybe we just got a resume. so that it's pretty evident to whoever would apply why maybe we wouldn't interview somebody if they didn't complete whatever we're calling the requirements or the criteria in front of them. So I think we need to be pretty specific on that,
Yeah.
you know. But then beyond that, yeah, I think we should interview everybody that meets the criteria, whatever we've set forward in the front end of it.
Because with that in mind, what we could do is, the next night I had, interviews scheduled, but, I was thinking, but we could flip that, and we could start having interviews that night, right after we start we open up the applications, and then we could continue interviews the next day, if needed, and then have a public hearing.
Does, I guess first off, the question is, can the county, or whoever's doing both the judicial search and the background checks, is that feasible within a day or two? Does anybody know the question?
Last time on that, too. I'll double check.
Judicial case search takes just a few
It's
minutes
quick.
search
Okay,
online,
okay.
quick. But I'm not sure about the county's
Next time I
HR,
visit the sheriff, perhaps I'll check.
Okay,
so we'll check in that.
okay.
I would hope that it would be done in a day or two.
So maybe the 24th, just to be safe? do you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly what I was thinking.
Okay,
So we could on the 24th, we could have the meeting 3 to 5 to start going through the applications, meet with the county attorney, and then start scheduling interviews with the applicants that we start receiving that night. So from, I'm sorry here. So maybe if we just have a half an hour break for lunch or dinner, we could maybe have something, maybe we could all order pizza or something, whatever you guys decide, bring packed lunch. We could maybe start scheduling interviews at 5:30. I had an idea on interviews. Like, again, I don't have any idea how many people are going to apply, but there are 7 members here on the commission. I was thinking of a fair way to do this. My idea would be every commission member gets 2 questions. The candidate I'm proposing would have a 2.5-minute opening remarks with a 2.5-minute closing remarks. And then I would further allot 30 seconds for each commission member to ask the question. So with that being said, an interview would be 40 minutes per applicant. So 40 minutes per applicant, that really adds up a lot. So
So if things don't go exactly like that, it spreads to an hour. 20 candidates, 20 hours?
that's exactly the nature of my point on this. But we haven't voted on this. A couple members here have thrown out interviewing everybody. So I think I heard you say a few minutes ago you wanted to interview everybody that applied.
Everybody that
Meets the criteria.
Meets the criteria.
That jumped through the hoops.
Well,
successfully.
if we get 20 people to do that, we're looking at 20 times at least 40 minutes. And that's just, we don't have to do 2 questions per person, we could do 1. But we would have a lot of information in their package that we would have to review.
and personally, having done this a good bit with some other organizations, I think